mean, when I done mine, I done level 1 and we done every event. There was no introduction to anything. It was just straight in, exams, everything.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it was shocking.
Yeah, no, me as well. We had a 3-hour exam on the second weekend on the Sunday morning. Yeah, it was pretty full on.
I think it's important to point out too, the level 1 beginning coach assesses your competency, so checks to see that you can control a group and you can organise something safely and all those things, just not how to hold the shot put or how to hold the discus and have another kid standing out in front when you get hit. So those sort of things are thrown in as well.
I had a reminder this week about how important it is that we explain to people how to manage a group. I think if you're a teacher, I think that's your bread and butter and you know how to do that. But I had a complaint about a coach that had gone to a school, and so we were just looking into it, and when he came to speak, when he was talking, I could hear that he didn't understand how to manage the group at all. And he was a throws coach, and I don't know him very well, but I think his technical knowledge is probably very sound. He's coached by Gus Popolo. I have no doubt that his technical knowledge is very solid. But listening to him, I understood he didn't know how to manage a group. He was at a school, and when we gave him a chance to say what happened, he said, oh, well, you know, I was showing one kid how to throw the discus and the other kids started fighting, and one child ran off, and then he was complaining about another school, and he said, oh, you know, when I'm showing the girls how to throw the shot, he said the other girls sit down and talk and I have to yell at them. And it made me realise, and I went and checked, and he had been given RCC for level 1, so he had passed this stage and moved into this stage. Now his technical knowledge, there is no doubt, was at this level, but I could hear when he spoke that we hadn't educated him at all about what to do with a group of 20 kids, and that was our fault. We'd allowed him to miss a bit of his education, because everyone knows when you're showing one kid to do anything and 15 other kids are doing nothing, where it always ends. Girls talk, boys fight. So it reminded me again. So I think with the RCC we also need to be careful, and maybe if we'd been a little clearer with the modules, we might have been able to say to him, you'll need to come and do this modules here that talks about group management and engagement, and then you might be able to get some RCC even at level 2 about your throws, event specific stuff. We could have managed him better. That's our fault. We haven't managed his educational experience.
Just as a summary then, you're going to integrate ITC and level 1?
That's my wish list, and we've at the CAC meeting on Tuesday we made a little working party to do that. So look, I understand that for some people that's not a concept that they want to support. I totally get that. I'd just like to look at it and see, can we create something that meets my needs as Athletics Australia, Little Ass needs, something that we could look at and say, yeah, that's a place we can all start. So that's, in a perfect world, that's what I'd like.
I like the idea of the modules. I'm probably interested, I know a lot of people are coming up working with junior athletes, have probably come to it from the recreational running point of view. So working more with senior athletes, and certainly see a lot of other senior athletes that, and we're talking, you know, the fun runners and stuff like that would like coaching. And there aren't that many coaches out there to take on those groups. And how are we then training those recreational running coaches that maybe they don't need to spend a lot of time on the modules with the younger athletes,
yeah,
but they need to get to that level where they're training kind of event specific.
So I don't know if you know, there's a level 2 rec running course. Yeah, so the level 2 rec running course, and I sort of see the rec running as standing out on its own. I think that's a separate stream, because so often the people who come to rec running are personal trainers. So they've done their Cert 3, they've done their Cert 4, they have their energy systems, they know their muscles. So what we'd like for them, if you are a personal trainer and you are registered with Physical Activity Australia or Fitness Australia, I'm very happy for you to come and start at level 2 rec running. If that's the industry you want to work in, again, we'll need you to apply for RCC. We need to look to make sure, but very happy for them to move into that. Now, if they wanted to move sideways from there and say, they said, oh look, this is so much fun, I want to go and work at Little Ass, then we'd need them to come back and look at some modules here. But if your interest is rec running, if you're a personal trainer and all you want is to be able to go out on Tuesday night, take Tim and turn him into a marathon runner, then Might need Thursday night as well. Then happy for you to come into this stream here. Yeah.
I'm a little confused. With the Australian Track and Field Association, this is just my personal thing, I'm a level 3 coach with them, but with the accreditation through Athletics Australia, I'm a level 2 event specific.
Okay, so there was a realignment. So your ATFCA accreditation should be reflected in the AA accreditation. So it shouldn't be that at the present you have two different levels between the two associations. It should be the same.
So which one's wrong?
So have you done any AA courses?
Yeah.
I said, so when you came into the AA course, what ATFCA level did you have?
I had a level 2, or I was a level 2 when I did my last course.
Okay, so you did a level 2 ATFCA course? So that should have moved you into level 3.
Okay, so therefore if my accreditation card's a level 2, I'm going to get that changed.
Yep, and you need to email me and I'll give it to Lynn. Yep, and she'll change that for you, absolutely. That's an admin.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was confused.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The problem that I think some of the junior athlete or junior coaches have got, so they've got one accreditation, and when we got swapped, we weren't quite sure what we
Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
That's cool.
We should flag at that point that the, without putting too fine a point on it, the relationship with the Australian Track and Field Coaches Association over the last, let's say, 4 to 5 years has been fraught with ups and downs, largely driven by some of the issues at stake and some of the personalities in play. We've struck a very different note right from the outset with that association. We're both card-carrying members of that association as coaches and believe very strongly in that association's ability to represent and advocate for coaches who are members. So that's why we've worked very hard to bring that association back in right here when we started saying let's have a look at the framework again. The first person we met with was Glennis from the ATFCA. We've been to their board of directors meeting. We're very keen to see that that association has a place in the coaching landscape in Australia. So we're not into the political component that's perhaps been a wedge in our industry for the last 4 or 5 years. We want to see everybody working from the same page towards the same goal. And we're very, very strongly in favour of that.
And sorry, to take that to the next step, does that include integrating branch ATFCAs with like branch AA bodies so that we can deliver these courses, or are they still going to be purely AA run?
Look, there's the people who deliver courses are endorsed coach education providers, and their contracts are all actually up at December. So we'll be looking again for people to put up their hands to fulfil the requirements who wish to be ECEP. So if there's an ATFCA branch who wishes to run the AA courses, then they're very welcome to come into the application process, pop in your application to be a provider.
In a state like WA, we're never going to have two because of the numbers, obviously. But working together would work a bit better.
Yeah.
And look, and there's an argument as well that coach education formally is about this pathway, but actually the most learning that I've ever done as a coach was in the other workshops and clinics and seminars and congresses that I did outside of the formal accreditation process. And there's a lot of space there, a lot of need there from coaches for both parties to be delivering into that less formal sort of continuing professional development space. That's where I certainly see the collaboration definitely needs to be in that area. So that one of the things we canvassed in Queensland before I moved down to Melbourne was that if Queensland Athletics is going to run a level 2 sprints, hurdles, relays course, that 4 weeks later the ATFCA was working with the same presenter and the same group of people 4 weeks later to do a follow-up. What did you find? What's working? What's not? So that there is a kind of a reference point for people to both organisations. Because one of the things I appreciate as well is that by virtue of a whole range of issues that the ATFCA perhaps isn't seen as being where it fits in the coaching industry. And in fact, we actually need to make sure that both organisations are seen as equally valuable. People have a choice whether they go with one or both. But the issue is that both need to be given the space that they deserve in what we're talking about. So it's certainly something that I think the collaboration needs to be not only within the delivery of the framework where it's appropriate in each state, but certainly in terms of supporting the needs of coaches outside of that too.